Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the San Gabriel Valley today. It's my pleasure to introduce you to, if you don't know him already, Phillip Chen. He is a trustee with the Walnut Valley Unified School District, but he is now a nominee for the California State Assembly. He is running in the 55th Assembly District. That seat is currently held by Ling Chang. She opted to run for the Senate, so it's an open seat, and now you are one of two nominees. Congratulations, sir. Talk to us about the 55th.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here
Sure.
today. Well, the 55th Assembly District is unique. It's got 3 counties. It's got LA County.
That's very unique.
It
I
is.
mean, that is because I remember when they redrew the lines that they wanted to try to keep communities together and not go over county lines, but I interrupted.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's got Walnut, Diamond Bar, Rolling Heights. It has San Bernardino County, Chino Hills, and finally Orange County, Brea, La Habra, Placentia, Yorba Linda. And it's unique.
Yeah. Could you give us a sense if those communities feel distinct, feel disparate from each other? Because obviously they're geographically close.
Sure.
But when I think of Brea, I don't think of Walnut. You know, I don't know, how far are they apart? 30 minutes maybe?
About 30 minutes,
Yeah.
between 30 to 25 minutes.
Okay.
And you make a good point. Traditionally, the lines have drawn to make the communities closer together.
Right.
LA County, Orange County is different in the sense of the registration. LA County, in terms of right now, has a growing Democratic population.
Interesting.
While Orange County is still remaining steadfast and
Right.
conservative Republican registration.
What about the San Bernardino portion of the county?
It's
Of the seat, I
Republican.
should say. Okay.
Correct, it's Republican. But in terms of demographics, it's about 30% API,
Wow.
28% Hispanic, and the rest of it's majority is Anglo. So it's a pretty diverse community.
But is API the #1 ethnic group more than Latinos and Anglos?
It is.
So that is not common in many assembly districts.
Absolutely.
You are API yourself. And so how does it make you feel that, presuming victory, that you will be representing one of the most API districts in the state?
You know, I'm honored and I'm mostly humbled. I was born and raised in Southern California. Ethnically, my family is from Taiwan.
Okay.
But I've done a lot of things that are quote-unquote American, so to speak.
I understand.
I served as a reserve deputy sheriff. I was an ROTC at USC. I also worked for LA County Supervisor Mike Antonovich for 9.5 years
Sure.
as his health deputy. So during that process, I had a really good understanding of public policy, public management, and local government.
So why did you decide that you wanted to run for the California State Assembly? Walnut is a beautiful community. The school district, I hear, is fantastic. You could have stayed
It is.
working for Mr. Antonovich or his successor. What made you decide to make the leap to go to Sacramento?
When I worked for LA County Supervisor Mike Antonovich, it comes from a long-standing history of me being involved in local government. I was student body president at Cal State Fullerton. I kind of got bit the bug.
That's great. Is Fullerton in the district?
It is not. It's
Just
bordering.
outside?
It's Young
Okay.
Kim's district,
Got it.
actually,
Sure,
right
sure,
now.
sure.
But during that bug, I understood that politics and public policy, it's beautiful in the sense you can truly get things done.
Right.
Get people together in the same room and make and effectuate change. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's one of the best ways for me to leave my fingerprints, if you will.
So let's talk about effectuating change, because presuming victory, it is highly likely that you will be part of a Republican minority. I will say that in my eyes, Democrats and Republicans get along fairly well in Sacramento. It doesn't seem quite as contentious as it does in D.C. So I don't suggest you can't get anything done just
Sure.
because you happen to be a Republican, but still, you will be in the minority party, presumably. So talk to me about how you plan to work the aisle, I guess you could say.
Brad, that's a great question. Again, I've been the health deputy Supervisor Mike Anton for 9.5 years. And that in that area is a minority party. Supervisor Antonovich and Supervisor Granavio are 2 Republicans.
Right.
And then you have 3 Democrats right now. To get anything done in LA County, you need votes of 3 or 4, oftentimes 4 to get anything done. That means the issues that we face are bipartisan issues.
But with the county, technically you're running nonpartisan. You know, there isn't a caucus leader.
That is true.
And so you'll be going to Sacramento where there's a caucus leader on the Democratic side, a caucus leader on the Republican side. I mean, do you already have new friends that you're looking at? Like, for example, Ling Chang, your
Sure.
presumed predecessor. She's known to have made great friends on the Democratic side. I think one of her best friends, I saw it on her Twitter feed, Evan Lowe, who's a Democrat from Northern California. So, you know, friendships matter.
Absolutely.
And so I guess you haven't gotten there yet, so I shouldn't push you on who your new friends will be, but continue.
But I think you're going to be surprised. having worked in local government for so many years,
I get it, yeah.
many of my friends are in the assembly now. And these are folks in which I've been hanging out with,
Well, Mark Ridley Thomas's son, Sebastian Ridley Thomas, all right.
Speaker Anthony Rendon,
right.
Assemblyman Ed Chow,
right.
Assemblyman David Chu. These are people I know on a first-name basis in which I can say hi and give them a call.
Course.
And like you said, those relationships truly matter. And if I can make another example, recently Governor Jerry Brown backed a $2 billion plan to talk about the homeless issues, especially in the area of housing. And that was a bipartisan amount of support. Senator Bob supported it, former Speaker Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg.
Right.
So it's possible, and I'm looking forward to making those things happen.
Well, let's talk about homelessness.
Sure.
And I ask you about that because, like you said, health deputy, and so presumably issues of mental health were in your bailiwick. And, we're facing a homeless crisis.
We are.
Los Angeles County has become the homeless capital of the nation. We are approaching 50,000 homeless in LA County, numbers we've never seen. Like you said, there's this homeless bond that was likely to be on the ballot statewide. LA County's looking at solutions. What do you hope to do in Sacramento on the question of homelessness?
Well, here in California, as you know, there's an estimated amount of 120,000 folks that are homeless in the state of California. And about 35% of those have mental health issues. And not only mental health issues, Brad, but co-occurring disorders. And what that means is they have a primary care issue, they have a health care issue, they have a behavioral health issue, but additional to that, they could have a drug and substance abuse issue.
And so let's delve deeper into that question, because a lot of these folks have these bi, tri, quad diagnoses,
right.
And for better or for worse, they will often not choose to accept services. They don't want to be part of society, and we can't force them. Maybe we can give them a 3-day hold, but that's about it. And so how can Sacramento work to try to engage with these folks in such a way that maybe they will accept services? What's the answer, if any?
It's a multi-pronged problem that deserves a multi-pronged solution, and you hit the nail right on the head. One thing I think we should focus on is involuntary mental health, AB 1421.
Yes.
And with AB 1421, what it does, it allows people to get the treatment they need to do well in life,
right,
to get up back on the right track. So right now, as you know, to get mental health treatment for an individual, they need to be deemed 5150, a danger to themselves or the others.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes it's until they get into a violent situation,
right,
until they get in a situation they hurt themselves, that they get the treatment they deserve. And I think that's something we need to change in terms of the laws right now.
Are you finding homeless in your suburban communities? Because what I think is unique about this crisis is I am seeing homeless folks in places I never saw them before.
That is
and
true.
it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
Are you seeing them in Walnut and Brea and Diamond Bar?
We are, but it's still a few and far between. In LA
Right.
County, most of the hot spots in LA County that you see homeless services are one, Pasadena,
Right.
San Gabriel
Who would
Valley.
have thunk?
Who would have thunk, right?
Right.
And then finally, Pomona. Of course, in LA, you see Skid Row, what have you. And of course, they congregate in those areas because that's where the services are provided.
So where do you go from here on the question? The bond will be on the ballot in November. It's focused specifically on those with mental health challenges in terms of homeless services. Any thoughts once you get to Sacramento in December, presuming victory on homelessness?
Well, I think housing is essential.
Right.
Housing certainly is essential, and the bond's going to help that. But I also believe if we don't enforce policies that demand that they get mandated treatment, it's warehousing without healing.
We'll have to talk more about that. His name is Phillip Chen. He is a nominee for the California State Assembly, District Number 55, which straddles LA, San Bernardino, and Orange counties. I'm Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.